And in my first year of consulting, I made the same amount of money as I did in my last year of banking. Now, I
Nice.
didn't
Yeah.
have 4 weeks of paid vacation on top of 10 holidays and a company expense card and blah, blah, blah. So there were some benefits that I got from banking, but nevertheless.
Welcome to the Value Factory Podcast, brought to you by One Accord. We're all about helping businesses thrive and grow through leadership, strategy, and meaningful impact. Now, whether you're a seasoned executive or just starting out, our goal is to provide insights and inspiration to help you navigate your journey. Thanks for tuning in.
So I almost want to like take it from the top, but your business, and I didn't know that you had a business partner. So that's new news, interesting. But
Yeah.
you and your partner started where you started, and you're now engaging with high net worth or higher net worth individuals, and you're talking 8-figure investable balances, and kind of your area of expertise is Bitcoin.
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
summarize that
Yeah.
right?
So,
Yeah, cool.
yeah. So we have all of the traditional expertise of a financial planner, investment manager. I know you were in banking, so it may be you're familiar with probably the investment side of things. I mean, you know the other stuff, but we really do the whole CFP gamut, I guess.
Yep.
Estate planning, insurance, tax planning, everything. And then adding on top of that, yeah, the Bitcoin specific expertise and unique services. And we have unique industry partnerships that we've created now since we started to get interest
Yep.
from these guys. We were like, okay, like we need to kind of assemble a team of professionals, if you will, between Bitcoin exchanges, miners, um, accountants who understand this, attorneys who understand it, really getting all of the professionals in the network that we could easily refer to, that would align in a worldview, values perspective,
Yep.
has the expertise they need. And so we've been doing that. But yeah, I mean, what I ultimately wanted to get your opinion on, your advice on, and hear what you thought was, yeah, how to do business essentially with this type of person,
Yeah.
just because I don't sit across the table from guys like this, like you do, and have probably for, however long.
Cool.
And so it's really just like, one, how do I get in contact with them more
Mm-hmm.
often? How do we kind of, because when I spoke to you at your house,
Yeah.
a few weeks ago, you're talking your sales cycle, 6 months, a year, maybe, because you're doing big deals. And so that's really where we're starting to get into is these guys. It's not just a one phone call. I decide yes or no.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like 3, 4 phone calls. They want to meet in person, like, all of these things. And so how do I operate in this way, I guess?
Yeah. It's good. Man, you and Matt have a similar laugh. That's fun. I heard that. So first, you said values aligned. Can we just start in prayer? Is that cool?
Sure.
Because
Absolutely.
I'm just like, God, I'm so thankful that you've given us the means to create the technology to connect us from thousands of miles away, but right here together so that we can be in community, in fellowship. We can do the work that you prescribed to Adam on day one, um, to work. And then we can provide our talents and our gifts and fulfill our purpose, responding to your call in moments like this, together. But so far away, I'm just in amazement for that. Um, so I'd ask you, God, to to show up in this conversation with your Holy Spirit. Give us some supernatural wisdom. Let us understand things that we just can't see today, and unlock the ability to respond to your call with the purpose that you have intended for us. And we pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Hmm. I'm just so thankful for like the opportunity, really. My mind, like I'm on a bit of a head trip here. How's Claire, man? How's
She's doing well. She's doing well. We're going
good?
through um, a tough time just in life overall right now. Her dad is in poor health,
Ah,
and he's been struggling for almost 2 years, really, in and out of the ICU, in and out of hospitals
dang.
constantly. Needs a bone marrow transplant to survive any real length of time. But the hospital that we're working with, or he's working with, to get the transplant done, seems to be dragging their feet.
Hmm.
Who knows what God has in store, but it's yeah, it's a lot of things are up in the air for us right now. So we're navigating that as best we can and handling it as best we can in this season. But I would say circumstances uh, considered, she's doing well.
Well, thanks for sharing that. I'm
Yeah.
feeling into that. Uh, all right. All right. Well, please give her my best. Like, I remember sitting in Zach's living room. He was going through some kind of a stretch that, like, you guys were, yeah, whatever. There were stories there. It was
Yeah.
that was something. And here you are today. Were you still at, I'm going to say Morgan Stanley then? Was that right?
Charles Schwab.
Charles Schwab, two names, investment house. Yep.
Yeah, basically the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I was. I don't remember exactly when that happened. If I was out of there already, then I had just started,
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, I can't remember exactly.
And you said CFP earlier. Are you a CFP by designation? You got the
I do not. I do not. My business partner does.
Oh, cool.
But I don't. When I was getting into it, it was, I took the coursework. I even took coursework in college to get to know the material. But in my experience, most of the people I talk to, they don't even know what CFP is. So it's
Yeah.
like, if it's not going to make them trust me anymore, I don't care about it. I don't want to
Yeah.
pander to other financial professionals like I'm trying to connect with the client. And
Yeah.
if it doesn't mean anything to them, doesn't mean anything to me, basically.
So I bought the first two books from the American College.
Yeah.
Yep. Thought that was a path I wanted to go down. That's as far as I got. I might have read some of them, but it was there. And here, look at me. I'm having the conversations with the guys about the $60 million business they want to transition to his kids. Go
Yep.
figure. Go figure. Yeah. Which leads us into this conversation. So you started Strong Wealth
Mhm.
with a partner, or is Strong Wealth yours and he's got his?
I did not start with a partner. So
Okay.
started on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I was a year and a half in when he joined, and it was really just getting to a place where I joined with very little experience in the industry as a whole. I'd never sat
Yeah.
across the table from a client. I'd never done a financial plan, none of it. I knew I had financial knowledge from my degree, from my time at Schwab, all the personal time put into studying this, which was probably where I learned the majority of things. But I knew I could help somebody, and I felt God was calling me to start now, which we could get into that story if you wanted. But yeah, so I was a year and a half in. I was really feeling overwhelmed, stressed with things, just feeling like I would love to have some support in
Mm-hmm.
this. And I really, I didn't have the money to pay anybody. So I was like, well, he has a ton of experience. So I say a ton, 8 years of experience doing this, working with people who are just starting out financially, all the way to 9-figure net worth entrepreneurs doing the most complex cases. And he previously worked in commercial banking before doing that. So he has a lot of great experience. We became friends. We went to church together. We went on hikes together, all that stuff before it was like, you know what, like we should do this thing together. He was working for a firm out in California. I'll just say client values didn't align with his values. Firm values didn't align with his, and he was ready to move on, really be able to be himself and work with people that he felt good about helping. And so it just seemed to line up perfectly. It was another God story for sure. And now we've been in business together for a little over a year at this point.
Tell my my partner Jeff and I came together, business partner Jeff and I came together as a God story, for sure.
Mm.
Just responding to the nudge, saying, all right, I hope this is you. And if it's not, catch me if I fall. So far,
Right.
I think it is. So then the kind of the question that you were hinting at is, how do you do business with the guys with big balance sheets? Is that an easy way to say something more complicated?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
What's your experience been?
Like I mentioned, I don't know if this was before we hit record or not, but it's more about relationship, of course. Trust is a very big barrier to overcome. Um,
Let's hang out there. Why
Yeah.
do you say that?
um, why do I say trust is a big barrier to overcome?
Yep.
Because I mean, one, there's more money at stake here. Two, we're initially meeting over the internet. I
Okay.
think, in what I have found is people who are older than me, further, have a bigger balance sheet maybe. They like to sit across the table, look you in the eyes, shake your hand, and get a feel for you, in person.
Yep.
And so that just takes more time, I feel like, to build that foundation to where it's like, okay, I will follow your recommendations financially, because
Yeah.
to me, and you can, obviously, maybe I'm wrong, but to me, it's like they've done the work to get to where they are.
Yes.
Here, I am not there financially. And so to be able to take advice from someone who is not there themselves, but, has the knowledge, has the expertise, I just feel like there's a bigger bridge to gap to be able to demonstrate that before they're willing to say, I trust you. If I was coming to the table with similar balance sheet, to use your phrase,
Yeah.
I think that would put me further along in the bridge.
Huh.
Than
I don't know that it would. So let's kind of break down that myth, right?
Sure.
I'm going to tell stories as we go through this, and maybe they connect, maybe they don't. Monday night, I had dinner with a guy who is 67. He made a lot of money in the .com bubble. What year were you born? Am I going to go here?
97.
Stop it.
So right,
Okay.
right before that.
I mean, seriously. Yeah. So literally, he made a lot of money in that first wave of tech. Okay.
Cool.
So he took that money and he bought some businesses. And maybe you've heard this, like, buy boring businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So he bought some boring businesses,
Okay.
but he bought them around the country. And so now he has, let's just say, $60 million a year in revenue that comes from these various businesses that are all kind of disparate around the country.
Mhm.
And he wants to do two things. He wants to roll these businesses up into one organization, and then he would really like to, I'm going to say, give it to his kids, but not give it to his kids. Does that make sense? He wants to transition it to his kids,
Mhm.
but not like wrap it up in a bow and just hand it to him.
Okay.
So this is some of the work that we do. I've never done that. I don't have this guy's balance sheet. I don't have his experience. So you're describing me in this conversation. And I think you're kind of asking me the question, well, how do I sell to, and I'm going to call him Bob, because every customer that I make up, I call him Bob. Then I don't have to
Sure.
remember a name. So how do I earn Bob's trust?
Mm-hmm. Basically.
How do I earn Bob's trust? You are correct in that I left the state of Washington to meet Bob where he's at. I went to one of his home states. He has many homes. So I met him where he was at. And we went to dinner. I did not put on a big show. I didn't, get all fancy with the wine and try to impress him. But I showed up in that space, in that environment. I showed up on his turf comfortably. So this is, I'd say, and actually a really important element to building relationship with folks. You have to be able to walk into the country club, to the Michelin star restaurant. You have to go to the racetrack where they're driving Ferraris. You got to go to the place where they do the stuff that the very successful people do, the very, very successful people do. And it has to just be normal, right? So if you show up and you're like, oh, is that a McLaren? I've never even touched a McLaren, right? That's not going to work. Now, do you go rent a McLaren on Turo so that you can show up next to his McLaren? No, you don't do that either, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you park your Toyota Corolla around the corner and walk up? Maybe, like there's, so point number one, you already said it. You've got to meet in person. You've got to meet in person. If someone is going to trust you, someone's going to trust me with $1 million, $10 million, $25 million. I suspect they're going to want to are you real? Are you legit?
Yeah.
Who are you? How do you show up? How do you handle pressure? They're going to, in the, if I'm thinking about X, if I'm thinking about Twitter and I'm thinking like the manosphere and the red pill and there's all that, they're going to test you. They're going to, it's going to be the shit test in there, to see how do you respond. And right. Because if I'm giving you this much of my wealth, I need to know that you can handle it. You got to see that in person. Then there's, so Bob, I'm at dinner with Bob, and Bob is telling stories about all kinds of stuff in life that I've never, and probably won't ever, I don't know, flying on jets with tech industry titans back in the day, and going to Uber exclusive places in the world and drinking the finest of champagnes and wines and blah, 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 right? Cool. Those are fun. Those sound like fun experiences, right? I'm not going to fanboy over it. I'm also not going to overstretch and order like a $600 bottle of wine because, I think he's going to be impressed by that. He doesn't want to be impressed by me for show. He wants to know that I know what I'm talking about. So I fumble my way through a wine list and order something that's $140, a bottle of wine that's $140. And in a nice restaurant like we are, that's not like an overreach. There were bottles that were thousands of dollars on their wine list, right? And there were like $75 bottles of wine. So I was like 2 notches up from the bottom. Right. Didn't get excessive with the cocktails. Didn't, it wasn't that kind of a, he's got to know that I'm like trustworthy, that I'm not not trying to impress. Okay. So that's the, lay of the land, kind of the setting, but then we get into conversation. So I'm going to stop telling story. What are the conversations that you're having with these guys? What are you talking about?
One guy, for example, up in your neck of the woods, actually in the P&W,
Mm-hmm.
he contacted us anonymously first.
Hmm. Interesting.
Privacy is very important.
Yep.
And then wouldn't get on a video call, which we've had 2 of those now. Wouldn't get on a video call, wanted to do phone call, which
Okay.
cool, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we got on the phone call, and the first thing he asked us was, "How did you come to know Jesus?"
Yeah.
That was the first conversation that we had, was, "Tell me your testimony." And so, all right, that's a great start. Like for us, I would think, a lot of other financial advisors, that they would probably be taken aback by that or maybe turned off, but we were like, this is good. This
Yeah.
is great. Like, this is perfect for us. Had that conversation, learned about how he met his wife. He was living on a sailboat or something for a year, and his wife had a party on the other boat, and they just so happened to meet, and she noticed Christian books in his boat. And that was the initial conversation starter. So it was very interesting, but we really didn't get into anything financial at that point, or in that first conversation.
Is this guy now a client, or is he still a prospect?
Still a prospect.
Okay. Okay. So as you're telling that story, what I'm thinking of is Bob. We're just going to call every client man, well, Bob and Sally. Okay. But I'm working with guys. I mean,
Yeah.
the clients that we work with are typically 60, maybe 50, but 60 plus, right? And they're owners of businesses and they've built their thing, and that's generally who. Okay. So Bob is used to everyone in the world wanting something from him. All day, every day, somebody wants something from Bob. They want his attention, they want his approval, they want his endorsement, they want his business, and they want his money. And whether or not that's actually true, that's actually true. So I can tell you, as you know, I'm not Bob. I don't have a mega yacht. I got a 24-foot ski boat, right? Happy about it, but that's, I get an email about every 9 minutes, or a DM in my LinkedIn, or on whatever platform, somebody pitching me something. I'll bet your DMs and your ex blow up all the time about, hey, you want a high converting landing page? We can help you with that. You want me to write some copy for you? We can help you with that. But I get it excessively.
Yeah.
And people think things about me. They project onto me and about our company that may or may not be true. And they set certain expectations, and like, I'm a target. Bob is a target. Your client is a target for because he has a pretty scarce resource, which is a lot of money. That's a scarce resource to have that big balance sheet. So constantly, all day, every day. So he's trying to decide right away, can I trust this person? And the more experienced and the more calloused Bob is, the faster he goes right to those tough questions. The who are you questions. Like, I don't have time for small talk. I'm not interested in that. Like, tell me the most important thing to you.
Mhm.
Tell me about your relationship with Jesus. I need to know if that's just something that you're doing to get closer to guys like me, or if it's real, right?
Right.
And then here's the fun part. And then often Bob's going to surprise you, because he's going to just go on 100% leap of faith, because Bob didn't get to where he got by being risk averse. So He's not talking to you about Bitcoin because he's risk averse. Once he feels like you are legit, he's going to go in. But it's that, you called it a barrier or something. There's a hurdle or something, but it's like, it's that.
Yeah.
Let's get on the other side of that. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he just went right to the most important thing. You know, I mean, a faithful man, he's going to go right to the most important thing. He knows it.
Right.
Yep. Cool. Okay. So no video, just phone call. Tell me about your deepest, darkest secret, the most important thing to you. Tell me about your faith. And you guys are jazzed up. You're like, okay, let's go. This is where we live. And then what?
Yeah. So got to know, his kind of story about how he met his wife, like I mentioned. He gave us high level stuff at best about his journey, I guess, in business and where he is right now. No specific numbers, nothing. And then by that time it was really like an hour, which is all we had scheduled. And he was like, I know we didn't get into the meat of anything, but I'd like to continue the conversation and thought this was good. And that was it. So then it's been emails really ever since. So I tried to actually, when I went out there for my brother's backpacking trip, I tried to meet him in person. I was like, okay, like let me try to make this work. And he said he was windsurfing that week because it was a windy week in Washington. So he was like, I'm gonna be busy, basically. Okay. And he sent a bulleted bullet point email of exactly what he's looking for. Just here's topic by topic, exactly what I need. And just kind of left it there. And so I was like, well, okay, we'll address these at least, just to prove that we can have the conversations. Like we don't know any details, so it's hard to really go into specifics about what we could do.
Well, you don't even know if he's real. Like we're in this conversation assuming that he's legit, but we don't know. But we'll just we'll stick with that. I mean, we'll just go with it because it doesn't help us to go the other route just yet. But okay, can you tell me what was in the email, like, or is there confidential stuff there?
It was just like specific financial topics, like exactly what he was looking for in doing business with a financial planner.
Okay.
Here's exactly what I need to see and what needs to be true, essentially, to move forward. And
was there anything on the list that was not a good fit?
No, nothing that was not a good fit. There were things that we needed to ask more questions on just because you can't make assumptions on some of this stuff, especially just with how privacy focused and security focused he wanted to be, specifically related to Bitcoin. There's a lot of technical aspects in there, and my business partner is the one who's deeper into it than me even, and wasn't sure the guy fully knew what he was talking about, basically. And so we responded to his bullet points. I just responded to them directly and said, let me know what, when you can talk again, basically. And, and so it was all high level stuff, essentially, basically responding with questions back. Like it would be, I'll address it to some extent, but then here's the 3 questions that I would ask to get to a place where we could actually give you a real answer. And that seemed to work. He still wants to meet in person, and he said he was traveling down our way just good. Later in a couple months. He's like, I'm going to be traveling down your way in a couple months. I will make a stop in Colorado Springs, and we'll meet up, and I'll let you know the details when the time comes, basically. So, cool. Yeah, maybe he's not real. Who knows?
Yeah. So just some things that come up for me in that there's a real balance between not being pushy and not being action oriented. So I want to use that language, right? So pushy is like, I'm pushing to a close, sign here, sign here, sign here. You know, let me just get your credit card and I'll get you the discount. I'll get you in the system. Let me get your email. Let me, let's get something on the books. Like you're pushing for a close, push, push, push. And that doesn't feel good. I think we all like get that doesn't feel good. On the flip side, Bob does not want to chase after people. It's a lot easier for Bob to say like, no, not right now, than why hasn't he called me? So there is a real balance, and I think it needs to err towards or lean towards action oriented. So some language, instead of, hey, let me know what you think about this and call me when you can, is I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I will call you in 3 days. Can we have our follow-up on Wednesday at 3:00? So Bob doesn't have to think about it. He can just decide yes or no. And if he says no, don't take it personally. Maybe it just doesn't fit in the schedule, right? But clarity is going to be appreciated because it's make decisions and we got to go. But I don't want to have to think about following up with you. I want to know that you're going to be bringing me the solutions and I can make decisions around it. That's what Bob's going to be really good at, is making a decision. He is used to, if we're talking 8-figure balance sheets, 9-figure balance sheets, these guys are used to making decisions based on other people's research and recommendations. And then they'll go off and do their own thing and come up with some crazy idea. And they'll be like, this is what I think we should do. I was up all night on X and went deep in this thread and then he won't say it, but he expects you to be like, don't do that. I'm here to protect you. Expects you to tell him the truth. And he will override you and still expect you to tell the truth.
Yeah. Which I'm proud of how we did that. I would say in that email, who knows if it works out or not, but we were just honest. Like he actually mentioned like a hedge fund style firm that he's familiar with. And I guess he has a connection with or something. And he's like, I can, put my money with these guys who have a longer track record, or, XYZ, but they can't do all this other stuff that I'm looking for. And so I was just like, listen, we're not a hedge fund. If that's what you want, that's not us.
Beautiful.
So you want to go do that? Great. But they're not going to do all this other stuff that you're talking about. They can't even sit in the room and have the conversation, I think is actually what I said. Like they can't even have the conversation with you. We can't. So you decide basically. So that's good to hear, I guess.
So my Bob that I met with 2 days ago, he's talking to a lot of people. He's getting a lot of input from his trusted circle on what he should do with this. And one of the people said, well, why don't you just have your attorneys draft up the hold co and like do that? And
are you willing to share how you got connected with Bob? Because that'd be another avenue.
Oh yeah,
I would appreciate hearing more about.
Yeah,
because it seems like it's probably all referral based, if I had to guess. But I'm curious what you see. Is it really just, hey, meet my friend Bob who thinks could benefit from what you do? Or
this particular Bob met one of our consultants socially. So they were, at some event somewhere and, shook hands and hi, how are you? And what do you do? I want to say though, it was like a year ago. And then I don't recall how the conversation resurfaced or if it had just been kind of an ongoing checking in every now and again. So it went from a light social engagement with, maybe someday in the future we could do something for Bob, to like he's ready to make a decision and we were on his mind.
Cool.
Yep. I will say this. We did a survey of our customers, and 7 out of 10 of them said that they would look for someone to do what we do. They would hire a consultant based on word of mouth and with a referral from a trusted advisor. 3 out of 10 might do a Google search or something else. So that was real data coming from customers that we had served. And then if I share the referral kind of relationships or referral sources, number 1 and number 2 are wealth advisors and business insurance brokers. And they kind of go back and forth for the number 1 and number 2 spot. And it makes perfect sense because, as a wealth advisor, you're having those CFP conversations about, okay, Bob, here's all your assets. What do you want retirement to look like? What does your timeline look like? You've got this business. What are you going to do with it? And they say, well, because our work is all focused on Bob's business. And he says, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to transition it to my kids. I'm going to, and so they say, you should talk to One Accord because very narrowly, specifically, this is what they do.
Got it.
Yep.
Were those pre-existing relationships or relationships that you've developed since you've been there?
The insurance brokers and wealth advisors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my One Accord has existed for 25 years. And many of these relationships are connected to Jeff, my partner, the chairman of the company now and founder. And we have, there's a few dozen consultants that work with us, and they have their relationships. So we have a really positive reputation here locally, and people think of us. But here's a challenging thing for us is if I introduce myself somewhere, hey, I'm Nick, I'm with One Accord, the response goes, oh my gosh, One Accord, that's you guys, great company. Jeff Rogers is a great man. Really like Jeff. But what do you guys do? That's what they always say. But what do you guys do? And so here again, like the wealth advisor, I think people understand inherently, oh, well, you kind of make recommendations and advice about what people should do with their money. Yes, and right, there's a very specific application that we enter into in a business consulting arrangement, and there are things that make different wealth advisors or wealth advisors differentiate from one another, right? So that kind of layer. So backing up from that, we get a lot of introductions from our network. Here's one. So Bob, we're at dinner, and one of the first things that he says to me is, so I looked into you. He's talking to me. And I had two of my guys. So this was a 4-person dinner. We had 2 guys there and Bob. The consultant who had met Bob and kind of started the arrangement or the conversation. So he said, I looked into you. Me personally.
Right.
And I talked to somebody who knows you. And I asked him about you before we even went to dinner. Yep. So that'll happen.
Yeah.
That will happen. And so having a good relational network of trusted, I was going to say trusted advisors, but really being in that space of trusted advisors, because people will ask.
Gotcha.
I'm unsurprised anymore when people meet me and they tell me that they've read my bio and they've looked up where I've worked in LinkedIn and they've done their research on me. It's very strange to think that somebody's researching me, but they do. Yeah.
I would expect that, I guess, because I mean, what I'm hearing from you essentially is character is the most important. And then secondly to that, do you know what you're talking about? Can you do the job well?
It's
And
yeah, if I was to say that, I would say that competence, right? That's the
right.
competence is table stakes. If you're
What do
not
you mean? What
competent,
is that?
table stakes is the amount of money that you need to actually sit at the poker table. If you don't have that much money, you can't sit at the table.
You're not
Like,
even in the conversation. Got it.
you
Yeah.
you can't sit at this table unless you've got $1,000 because you're going to lose it in two hands the way that we're playing. That's table stakes. So if you're not competent, don't even bother showing up to the conversation. And on some level, we're just going to assume that you have a baseline of competence. So now I have to understand your character. Once I'm comfortable with your character, now I go back to competence, mastery, expertise, and now show me why you're better than the four other guys that I've already kind of vetted for character.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I think we can get it mixed up and confused in thinking that character might be the table stakes. But it's actually competence. Yeah. Because I would say
I'm with you.
even the even the most altruistic and values-based Bobs in the world know that they're doing business with some people with questionable character because they have high levels of competence. But if they are low competence and high character, we don't do business. We can be friends, but we won't do business. I won't give you my money.
Yeah, that's like a diversity and inclusion principle there. Just because you have the character, I'm going to hire you, regardless of how competent you are.
Yeah, and it just doesn't work. Like
Right.
there is no successful
Totally.
person who's going to trust resources and assets with another, like their own personal. We can see this in corporate America. I'm happy to give you somebody else's money. I'm happy to give you someone else's responsibility and give you a chance. But when it's the money that I've missed time with my family for, lost out on sleep for, stressed my mind out for, that I've been protecting for decades, I'm only going to give that to competent people. So competence is table stakes, and the rest is what starts to differentiate the competent. Mm-hmm.
I'm with you.
Yeah. And so that, okay. So now let's get into, I like juxtaposing this story, my Bob, your Bob, and where we're at in the conversation. So Bob says, I looked into you, and he just straight up, I mean, it was kind of like, tell me about your faith from your Bob.
Yeah.
He was like, so when I asked about you, they actually said, that you do this, but I'm talking about this. So like, can you even help me? Right. And so I was like, wow, that's a really, fair question. The language that I use internally is I need to build a bridge for Bob from what he understands to what the truth is. Because he's telling himself, yeah, go ahead.
Was this just your past occupation, or was this he just didn't understand what you actually do now?
So Bob called Joe, and Joe knows me, and Joe knows Bob. And Joe told Bob what he thought I did, what he thought our company did.
Okay.
One version of what we do. And in this particular case, Bob said, yeah, so I was talking to Joe, and he says, really what you guys do is you help prep companies for sale, and I'm not selling my company. And I was like, okay, good. This is a starting place. So that's true, Bob. This is our number one marketing message. When I go to the market, I'm very narrow, I'm very clear. This is our ideal engagement, is to help someone prep their company for sale to increase the enterprise value of the company. And we do that by reducing owner dependence. We do that by improving operations. We do that through a lot of things. Now, what I'm hearing you say, Bob, is that you want to transition your company to your kids. So the The overall value, and you've already made a boatload of money. So the value at that transition, not important. But let me ask you this, Bob. Is operationalizing the company important to you? Is prepping for the transition important to you? Is identifying the leadership and the support for the next owners? So yes, I tell the market, we do what we do for this purpose, but it also fits the plan that you've got. Ready for this one?
Do,
Go ahead. Yeah.
did you build that bridge with questions or statements? Basically, I'm curious to hear how you approached it, because did you get him to come to the conclusion, or did you give him the conclusion?
It was both. I started with questions because I thought I could be clever. So, so Bob's got all these businesses, and I thought I'd say, okay, I'm going to try to get him to get to the place of defining his ideal client, and then show him how he sells to a lot of other clients outside of his ideal, but he pays for the marketing for his ideal client. And so I started asking some questions, and it just didn't feel like we were getting there easily. So then I just said it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, how did you transition from him asking you a question to you asking a question?
That was where I was just going. So
Okay, cool.
He said so Joe told me you do this. That's not what I want. I'm like, okay, fair question. So let me ask you, you have this product line, and it's an uber high-end product line, but is that the only thing you sell? And then he went off on some tangent, right? So I tried to go into that question, but it just didn't land right. So then I came back to, okay, well, here's what we market to. Here's all the things that we do, and here's how these the same approach is used for different outcomes. We're transitioning the business. Like, that's either you selling it or you giving it to your kids.
Right.
Okay. So then I was talking about the kids. And so I said, okay, Bob, I gotta be, I don't know if I said I gotta be honest or honest question. I think that's what I said. Bob, honest question. Tell me about your kids. Oh, my kids, they're great, this and that and this and that. Are your kids capable of running your company?
Mm.
So then I went into, and here's where with your Bob, where I was thinking about going earlier, is like, at some point, the shift becomes, I need to qualify you as a client. So
You got to take back the frame, basically, of the conversation and be the guy asking the questions, or
yeah, I mean, don't do it Revelino, Andrew Tate style, take back the frame, but you are correct, right?
I don't follow any of his stuff, but
yeah.
gotcha.
It is that.
Okay.
And this is a display of competence. It's a display of integrity.
Yeah.
We could probably measure our success more accurately on the deals that we say no to than the deals we say yes to.
Mm.
The clients that we don't engage, where they might even want to do business with us, but we just know this is not a good fit. It's going to be a stretch. It's outside of, I mean, certainly if it's outside of my values set, if it's like,
Yeah,
so hard to say no, but I've got to qualify you. So this is what makes a good client. And okay, different set of Bobs, but you go. This is fun. I'm having fun with this. Let's go.
Well, I had another conversation recently, similar type guy, and I don't think I handled this one very well.
Okay.
The other, communicating via email, you have some time to think, and you can really take it where you want to go. But this one, I got on the call, and well, before we even get on the call, he is referred to us from an industry partner. So I'm thinking trust is there. If he's coming from referral, at least a base level of trust is there. This is not a massive company that he's referred by, but it's a legitimate, big company that everyone in the industry knows. And And so he's coming to us, and I started, three-way email introed us. And so I just responded with a video directly to him speaking. I was just like, hey, introducing myself, speaking a little bit about not necessarily what we do, but I think I said, I imagine you're feeling this way, XYZ. Probably maybe shouldn't have said that, but the way that they kind of phrased the email, I could tell he was experiencing the same frustrations that our prospects have been experiencing. So I was like, you may be feeling this way, totally get it. Here's a link to book a call with us. Let's learn more about each other, see if we're even a good fit at all. Who knows? We may not be. He doesn't book a link, or he doesn't book a call through our link. He just responds with his link, his calendar. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, fair enough. We'll go ahead and book a call on his calendar. He reschedules twice, travel complications, whatever, but he thanks us, for the flexibility. It doesn't seem like he's just trying to get out of it. He seems like he really does still want to talk. But every single time when he wants to reschedule, we have to go reschedule through his booking call, his link on his calendar. So that just feels weird to me. I don't know what you think of that. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. But anyways, so we get to the call, get on Microsoft Teams. We usually use Google Meet, so we get on Microsoft Teams. And he starts the conversation with, no, sorry, I'm going too fast. So joining the call, I start how I normally start. What made you even, why are we even here, really? Why are you taking the time to talk with us? How did we get here? What's going on? And he's very short, I would say, not very open to really sharing any details about himself, what the problems are, his financial situation. And then he flips it back onto us. And this is where I don't think I handled it very well, because he's like, I want to learn more about you guys. And this is probably less than 10 minutes in. And he says, it feels like I inquired and you created this landing page only for me. Like I said, we're going through a transition where we're really starting to get interest from these type of people. We're like, oh, like if these people are reaching out, we're not marketing to them at all. Maybe we should start marketing to them. And, that would be good. So we're not turning away people before they even get on the phone with us. So I had created a new landing page speaking to this type of person. And I could tell that it resonated with him. Like, we know what we're talking about, but he felt like, I guess, that we hadn't actually done it before. This was really just, he was the first one. And I think how I did not handle it very well, and I'd love to get your opinion, is I kind of let him drive the conversation from there, answering his questions with answers, I guess, not more questions. And then after I got through going through, I just feel like I went through what we do way too early before I even got to know if he even, was a good fit. Like you said, even qualified.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to talk about it if you're not a good fit. And then later on, I kind of tried to save it, and it just felt out of flow. And I kind of hit him with the honest question type thing. I was like, I hear you saying that, like, you feel like this was just made for you. You're very skeptical. I get it. Trust is obviously something we're going to have to build. Like, you're just meeting us now virtually for the first time. Like, totally understand. But it seems like you don't even want to really answer our questions. Like, it seems like I can't remember exactly how I phrased it, but it just, something doesn't feel right, basically. And he had said in the beginning that he's a down to business type of guy. So I said, you told me you're a down to business type of guy. Give me the bullet point list then of what you're looking for to make a decision right now. Like, to even have another call. It doesn't have to be, we agree to work together, you pay the invoice, sign the contract, whatever. give me, like, what are you using to make this decision? Because we've been 15 minutes in. Most of it has been you asking us questions, and then you say you're good. You kind of, he's like, I'm going to think about it and I'll get back to you, basically, after that 15 minutes. And that's when I hit him with this kind of like, what is this? Like, are you not interested? Tell us.
Yeah.
You're down to business. If you are interested, give us what you're looking for. And if we don't check those boxes, I'll be honest with you. I told him, I'm not trying to sell you into something that you will not benefit from. Like, I want a win-win situation here. And he responded with, I don't really have a bullet point list. And so we just kind of never got anywhere and ended up ending the call probably in the next 5-10 minutes after that.
Okay.
He did say at the end that he just got back from a flight, landed at like 2 a.m., middle of the night, came into the office that morning, and 2 of his employees had resigned. So I got that from him after I kind of hit him with the honesty.
All right.
And so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that could have been all it was, but I don't know. So yeah. What do you think?
My advice to you, my feedback, where I'm coming from in this needs to be framed in the understanding I have is that Strong Wealth is you and a partner. What's your partner's name, by the way?
Jacob.
You and Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Just you guys.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Do you want it to just be the two of you guys for the next 3 years?
No, we've discussed our path is to get to 7-figure top line revenue, have a team of 5, including us 2, and we have kind of that plan laid out. We don't necessarily want to scale to a big team, but
yeah. Yep. Perfect. Okay. Then you should, my advice, you should not put any more energy into this guy.
I had that feeling, but
yep. And
cool.
And here's why. Your gut is already telling you, and 7 figures, 2 partners, 5 team of 5, you are such a very personal boutique firm that if you don't have like a solid gut feeling about a client, it's no good. Even just the early indications, as you were talking about how you sent him a link and then he sent you his link.
Right.
I do that to people who are soliciting me when I'm not interested. But okay, so here's you and me. We had a text conversation. You wanted to spend time. You even offered to like pay for time with me. And I was like, okay, well, let's do it on, whatever date at whatever time. And then I totally dropped the ball. Like, I fully intended to be on a call with you, whatever it was, Tuesday last week at 11 a.m. or something. But I didn't get it in my calendar because, I got excuses, but that's on me, right? So then what did I do? I followed up with you and was like, I'm so sorry. Can we do it this weekend? You didn't get back to me. And so then I followed up with you and I was like, let's go 2 hours now. Okay. What does that communicate to you about what I think and value of you and your time and right? And kind of our relationship? Your clients in the firm that you're building right now have to respect you at that level. And it's not that they need to like, okay, you send a link and then he sends a link back, like, okay, fine, no big deal. It's not gonna be my litmus test for a client. But then he reschedules and he reschedules, and then he books it for a time when he was time crunched, and then he got back into his office and 2 of his people resigned. Why did they resign? Who is this guy? What is the mounting evidence that's coming up, right? There's a persona that shows up. And listen, the dude could be super successful and he could have a wonderful life, and I'm sure that all of his kids love him, and I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not being a jerk about it.
Yeah.
But the way that he's interacting with you, okay, I would give different advice if you were a setter, if you were an appointment setter working for Strong Wealth 3 years from now. I would give different advice to that setter who is trying to book a call with Mitch than I give to Mitch.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Right.
Yeah. So you're not the sales guy, you're not the employee, you're the relationship guy, and you're talking about deep, intimate trust relationship. So I love the fact that you were honest with this guy, that you are transparent. I love the fact that it's imperfect, that you are just who you are, because you can't put on a show every time you talk to somebody. You got to just be you.
Mm-hmm.
Your setters and your salespeople, sorry, but they put on shows because
Yeah.
they're trying to get the appointment with the client with you. They're trying to get to that place. When they're with you, you're trying to say, like, you know, can I bring you home to mom? Like, this is serious when you're talking.
Yeah.
So I think you handled that just fine. And I just don't think that you call him again. And if he calls you, there's, you know, two roads diverge in a yellow wood. You got an option. You say, hey, listen, the way our first few calls went, I'm actually a little skeptical if this is going to be a good fit. I'm happy to have another call with you, but it's really important that we, you know, that we're on the same page. So, you know, let's go ahead and have a call and see how that goes. Or you just say, gosh, you know, our first couple of calls, it didn't go so well. I don't think we're the right fit. I don't want to waste your time.
Gotcha. All right.
So scary as a budding, you know, trying to grow a business. It's so scary, man. It's so scary. So I get that. I was going to tell you about a Bob, and now I'm going to tell you about different Bobs. We, client that we engaged earlier this year, 50-50 partners. One of them wanted to hire us and the other one didn't.
Interesting.
And one of my guys pushed for the close because the one partner wanted to hire us. And the other partner just was dragging his feet the whole way through our kind of the phase one of our process.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of phase one, the reticent partner just wasn't having what we were selling. But the guy that wanted to hire us was. And so we kind of have the conversation around the table, like, what do we do? And I say, we drop it. Like, we just drop it. That is not going to end well for anyone. If I have to convince someone to hire me, not going to go well.
Yeah.
Do I have to?
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you, you know, young budding business owner, like you said, how do you balance then, you know, I mean, you know, I hear you saying, you know, if you have to convince them, it's not gonna work out. It's not gonna be good. I understand what you mean by that, but I guess balancing that with, I am selling them on us, you know, to some extent. So where does it maybe cross the line then to becoming, you know, you're too far. You're trying.
Beautiful question, man. You're smart. Yeah. I love this. So the importance is in the nuance of the word convince, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, the word convince means that I'm leaning in and I'm like, Mitch, man, I really want what's best for you. You gotta believe me. Like, I'm in this for you. I want win-win. Like, just trust me, right? So I'm showing up in a convincing way. Like I'm trying to over dramatize convincing.
Okay.
The client should be convinced by observation of your competence. They should be convinced by observation of your character. So those on display sell you. Whereas if you're deviating outside of something that just doesn't feel right, like you're rescheduling a few times and you're just not getting the like that's where there's a spectrum, where if on one end of the spectrum, the client needs no convincing. They're just like, I've been following you on X. I know who you are. I know what you're about. I got $100 million in the bank. I'm going to take a flyer and give you $1 million. It's 1% of my net worth. Like, cool, no problem. Okay, that's one end of the spectrum. On the other end of the spectrum is like, my friend told me to call you, and I don't know who you are, and I don't like guys like you, so tell me that I can trust you. Yeah, I think that's a non-starter. I'll send you to my landing page, and we can start there. If that even resonates with you, and you think you want to take the next step, you can book an appointment. But like, I'm not in the business of trying to sell you something. Like, people that come to me by word of mouth, by referral, because they know what I'm about, or because they're actively looking for the services that we offer, and I've put those on display. So like, somebody's either introduced to me or they're looking for me. And absolutely, I have to demonstrate my competence, and absolutely, I have to demonstrate my character. But if you, Bob, don't believe it, okay.
Got it.
All right. So all of that's super easy. Now, what do you do to generate some income and some revenue in the meantime while you're waiting for all these Bobs to find you and be introduced to you?
Yeah.
I have. So listen, I left my 25-year career in banking, which was super cush. I mean, like, for real. Yeah. And I took a gap year. That's what the kids say, between the high school and the college. I took a gap year, and then I started consulting. And in my first year of consulting, I made the same amount of money as I did in my last year of banking. Now, I didn't have 4 weeks of paid vacation on top of 10 holidays and a company expense card and blah, blah, blah. So there were some benefits that I got from banking, but nevertheless, how did I do that? I said yes to a lot of little projects and little engagements that were not my target ideal. I did things that I could do that I probably will never do again, but I had to do it. I took on some small engagements to do some, advisory work. I did some special project stuff. I did some like here's and there's things, because I was actively marketing myself. Like, this is what I do. Very narrow. I love a dartboard analogy. So what I do is the little red dot. It's the bullseye. That's what I do. And sometimes people say, but I'm in the green circle around that. I'm like, yeah, that's really close to what I do. I can do that. And sometimes people say, well, I'm one of these numbers all the way around here. And it's like, oh my goodness. If you're a triple 20, sure. If you're a 3, but sometimes you got to take the 3 points, because I mean, you got to eat. So that's the unsexy side of being the entrepreneur. You got to take on the projects that pay the bills, but for the big ones, we can measure our success on the ones that we say no to much easier than we measure our success on the ones that we say yes to.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that guy comes back around. He said he did want to talk again. That's how he finished the call. Whether that, you know how that goes. Whether or not that's true or not, who knows? But after having this conversation, it'll be, I guess I feel a little bit more empowered, maybe a little bit more confident, just how to approach it.
So you show up in Bob's environment, comfortable, at the country club, on the yacht. If he invites you on his jet, you walk up it like you've been on a private jet before. You don't ooh and ah over the, like, are these real silverware? Right? It's gracious and polite and thank you, and it's just normal. It's just normal. This right
Yeah.
now, if they're doing weird stuff, then it's not normal. If it's not normal, it's not normal. But like, let's not
Right.
get all hung up on the fancy things. The
Yeah.
McLaren's got 4 wheels and 4 tires and a steering wheel. Okay, so there's that. Then there's the competence, display, character, then competence. We haven't really got into the conversation of properly or accurately identifying the problem that you're trying to solve for Bob, because ultimately that's why that's why anybody hires another person. It's because I've got a problem and I either don't want to or can't solve it myself. So getting clear on what that is. Problem can also mean opportunity. Problem can mean, whatever.
Right.
I suspect you're more clear on that. Then there's the engagement and the follow-up. So being action oriented versus too passive, because that if you're too passive, it's like he's not organized, he's not diligent, he doesn't care about me, he's too busy chasing after the next deal. So action oriented, I learned this actually from the most successful mortgage brokers in the business. Is the mortgage broker would have loan assistants that would just be on me. I'm financing properties and they're like, we need your bank statements. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get them to you, as soon as I can. We're going to need them tomorrow. And on one hand, I'm like, man, this is such a pain in the, but I know that I get them the bank statements and okay, now we need this and now we need this. And they're pushing it along. And I'm like, these guys are going to close on time. They're actually going to deliver. And then they ask me for something. I'm like, do you guys really need that? Like, this is getting really annoying. And they're like, yes, we need that. Okay. Like, let's go. On some level, it makes it easy for me because I just, I don't have to take the initiative. I don't have to be creative about it. I get to be responsive and make the decisions. You probably have an email list. You've got something that you're, staying in front of these folks. But you got to personalize stuff with Bob. I would encourage you to have notes on your conversation. Do you know his wife's name and their kids' names? And do you know some of their story? And like, because you're getting that intimate in relationship, right? So he has to know, but don't go overboard. Like, don't be inauthentic about it, but
Yeah.
pay attention there. Particularly if there's some, personal interest, right? Because that guy is he's going to want to enjoy spending time with you, right? So what is it that you guys can connect on, right? You're going to want to enjoy spending time with him too. Yep.
Right.
And then just do what you say you're going to do. You're going to call on Thursday, call on Thursday. There's a difference between being too standoffish and just confident that, yeah, we're going to talk in 3 months. And he said he's going to come out. So cool. It's going to come out. In that meanwhile, I'm going to go focus my attention elsewhere unless there's something I need to do for him. Yeah.
Say that again, because I was thinking of this generally, and then you're speaking to the situation I mentioned earlier. So you're saying, okay, 3 months, because this is something that is really on my mind. Okay, we left it off at, with other Bob, he's gonna be coming down this way.
Was he specific about when?
He said this fall or later this year. That was his, and this was end of July. So it's been a month. So it's been a month in between with no communication. So I'm kind of starting to think about it now. And we've actually,
all right.
And we've actually, this is getting a little in the weeds, but we've developed, so he was really interested in the relationships that we had with other industry partners that could get him in the door with really whatever he needed, and maybe preferential terms or, pricing, whatever it is. And we had gotten that kind of similar desire from two people then, both in this, high net worth specific category, or ideal prospect, I guess I would say. So we're like, okay, like we should probably go do that. So we've been doing that. We have made all the relationships that we're going to, use regardless if this Bob decides to come on or not, So that was one thing. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe do we just say, hey, we've made XYZ connections? Whatever I add to that, or how do I say it? I don't know. Another thing is, we think that we've come across a unique investment opportunity that would solve a couple of his bullet point problems. And it wasn't something that he mentioned.
Good.
So,
Okay.
Go ahead.
So as a trusted advisor, I'm going to use some strong language here. You have an obligation to tell him.
Yeah.
Yep. How you tell him is part of the question here. How and when, right? Not too soon, not before the ideas are half, fully baked, but it sounds like you're there.
Almost there. Yeah. So we're making sure the fine details are accurate, and it's not just like, we're seeing it all the way through, fleshing it all the way out, making sure there's tax implications and a lot of other things that we're double checking. Like even next week, we have a call with an accountant to just make sure we're not missing something, basically. But yeah. Okay.
Yep. So when you're there, hey, Bob, based on our conversation, we've developed XYZ, like very simple. We're not overselling it. We're reporting fact. You're reporting fact. Since our conversation, we had 2 other prospective client conversations that were similar. So this encouraged us to put some energy into, and we've got some new developments. I'd like to share them with you. Can we talk on Friday at 2? Really specific.
So don't say what it is in the email. Try to put it on the phone.
I mean, so Bob, you were asking me about whether or not we could grow purple bananas. Right. And based on that conversation, we've developed a formula that we can actually change the color of bananas, and I want to tell you about that.
Cool.
Like that much detail. You said you wanted this. We've done this. Can we talk Friday at 2? And he might say, I can't talk Friday at 2. Cool. If it's convenient for you, here's a booking link. Would love it if you found some time. If you have a calendar link, I'm happy to find time on your calendar. Hey, by the way, you said you were going to come out in the fall. I really don't want to miss that opportunity. Have you made those plans yet? Cool. And, we don't want to chase it. You don't want to chase it, but, a week goes by. Hey, just thought I'd nudge you again, see if any of this is of interest. Right?
Got it.
Mm-hmm. So many people do this already in cold emails, and they actually do it right, but there's no relationship underneath, so it doesn't work. So they use the right tactics, but they haven't developed relationship. You and Bob have talked to Jesus. There's relationship there. So it's okay. There's an invitation in. I do want to follow up. So, statement of fact. We talked about purple bananas. We got a way to make purple bananas. Can you talk on Friday? If Friday doesn't work, here's a calendar link. If it's more convenient for me to book on your calendar, great. That's like the extent. That's a long email.
Sure. Okay.
It's a long email. Yep. I mean, I have always appreciated that you are, I don't like the word authentic because it gets weird, right? But it's like you're just you. You're not, you don't make something up. You've never, I've never had the impression that you are trying to be somebody that you're not, that you're trying to make yourself bigger than you are, or impress anybody. I think of you as an honest person, like a genuinely caring person, but not like, gosh, not in the I'm just hung up on the word authentic because I feel like that gets overplayed. Um just real. You're a real person. I don't know if that's, and so I just want to encourage you to just continue to be real. And I feel like you're secure in that, so I don't think I need to like say these things, but just I think everybody faces some insecurities every now and again, so I want to offer you a good positive word. um
Appreciate it.
yeah, the continue to develop the competence because the character is there. Let me frame it that way. Continue to develop the competence because the character's there. And these guys, you'll get one and then he's got buddies.
Yeah. That's my thought process as well. And we are in the competence growing stage, I would say, to be able to say, hey, we've done that.
Yeah.
We've done that 10 times.
Mhm.
We can't necessarily say that right now at that level for these people. So we theoretically have the knowledge. It hasn't been applied to someone's situation, I guess.
Yeah.
Is really the best way to put it. And so, yeah, there is an insecurity there. Just to be honest, it really is, and that's probably the motivation for having this conversation is because you've had these conversations multiple times. I haven't. You have the experience, and I can, thankfully benefit from that because of your generosity to, hopefully land a couple bobs, and then I can update you.
What's been helpful, or what is still an open question from what I've said? But let's start with what's been helpful.
The most helpful part of everything you've shared, I think, is just helping me get into the mind of the other person,
Mm-hmm.
the Bob.
Yeah.
Because you've been there, done that, had 100,000 conversations, more than that even. And so, and again, I haven't. So it's like, how are these guys thinking? Do I follow up every single week, or whatever, and chase after it, do you just use that phrase, or, or do I let it go a month without saying anything at all, like I have now? It's just kind of like balancing these things, but hearing from you kind of where the person on the other side is, where their head is, that helps me then know how to interact and balance the feelings that I have of, don't want to come on too strong, but I want him as a client, kind of thing. And so how do I approach this guy? I know how to approach, the 40 other clients that we have. I don't know how to approach this guy in the way that he's like, these are the people that I am going to take advice from on my big balance sheet, especially because this isn't necessarily a big problem. Maybe it is, and I just don't know it. I'm 27. The youngest guy we've spoken to, 40. The oldest is in his 60s. Jacob is 30, about to turn 31, I believe. Maybe 31, 32. I can't remember exactly. But that's another just, I think experience, isn't fully there to be able to say, you've been in this for 20 years, or at least you've been around in business for 20 years. Not, you may not be doing this specific thing, but you have consistently delivered for 20 years and built to this point. Now you're going into this, that kind of trust and credibility can transfer over. We just don't really have that.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Bob knows that about you already, and he's talking to you. That thing that you're the most afraid of, he already knows.
I've suspected that, and I'm actually that's a good point because I have addressed that. I addressed that with Jesus Bob, and Bob, who may or may not ever talk to us again. Who knows?
Yeah.
And they're the original Bob, we'll say, for us. There's really been three main conversations that we've had in this realm. The original one is consulting with us on an hourly basis. It's not a full-time relationship like we would prefer, but he recognized the expertise. And he's like, I'll pay you for hours of your time when I feel like I have specific questions. Cool. So we're delivering on that now. And then in speaking of Jesus, Bob, I just addressed that right out of the gate, basically, because he said, this was pre-landing page that I built out. He's like, I look on your website and it doesn't look like I'm not your client, basically. I'm not your perfect fit. So what do you have to say about that? Because I don't need that. I need this, essentially. And so I was like, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm 3 years into this. We have 40 clients, not like you. We have one client exactly like you, and he is working with us. We're in the early stages of that, but you would be number two if you want to think about it that way. Our second client, and so we have the knowledge, but you're right. This isn't who we've focused on in the past, but we've gotten this interest not only from you, but from from other people, and so we're seeing an opportunity, and we're actively transitioning into that market, if you will. Nothing on the marketing side has been changed or built out because this is all fresh and it is new. So yeah,
he knows. Like he found you. He reached out to you from X or social.
Yeah. So he actually came from a referral from another advisor who knew that we had the knowledge, but we aren't marketing it anywhere yet.
Yeah.
We didn't have the full service package really built out because it's like, is there people that really want this? Who knows? But yeah, another advisor knew that we had the expertise, but we just weren't putting it out there. And when he found them, they were like, you need to talk to these guys, basically.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't what I do.
Yep. So you lead with competence because that's table stakes. So you have to, like, this is what we know. This is what we're good at. This is what we're expert at. Then you're into character, and you would be number two. And we're really excited to work with you to solve these problems. We want to be a part of solving really unique problems. You are giving us the opportunity to do something that we're capable of. We have competence around. We have energy to do. We just haven't done it as much as we've done these other things. So, character. This is where we're at. Like, you can see me on the camera. I'm 27 years old. If I was 40, I wouldn't have a mustache because 40-year-old guys don't have mustache. Some do, but they want to pretend like they're 27, right? So I am who I am, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a Jesus guy, and these are my values, right? So we're okay. So that's been established. You're invited in. You're coming along. So now you're into competence. We haven't talked about this one. It's adding value. So an outreach, a check-in, a follow-up that isn't either adding value or connected to a value creation opportunity, it's not going to land very well. Hey, Bob, just checking in. For what?
On what?
Yeah. Hey, Bob, we talked about purple bananas. We got a thing for purple bananas. I want to tell you about it. It's been a month since we talked. By the way, you said you're coming out here. Like, we've had that conversation. Like, we've gone through that a couple of times, but that's a value add follow-up. Hey, Bob, we were talking about purple bananas. I just read this article over here, and it kind of touched on that other thing you were talking about. Made me think of you. How you doing? It's been a month since we talked.
Cool.
There's some value there. There's some, like, because the opposite is I've been sitting here with nothing to do for 30 days waiting for you to call me. Hey, Bob, how you doing? Checking in. Right?
Yeah.
So, you can watch 15 videos on YouTube on how to do cold DMs and email waterfalls and so forth. They've got it all right, but when it's cold, it doesn't work. I mean, maybe it does, but they're just trying to sell their course. It probably doesn't actually work. When you've developed relationship, then you have those value add follow-ups, or those follow-ups that are connected to creating value.
Cool. We'll do it, and I'll let you know how it goes.
There is so one of the things that I'm working on. No, I'm not even working on it. Check this out. Here's a story. So there's a young man. I want to call him a kid because I'm of that vintage that I call you a kid. You're a kid.
All right.
Totally. I mean, really, I could be your father. Probably not, though. I mean, anyhow. So, it's one of these cold DMs in my ex account. But he did it right. Like, he did it right. So I'm like, yeah, I'll give you a chance. And he's been showing up, and he's helping me build out a bit of a community around. It's the same course that Matt and Peyton went through a couple of years ago that I had developed. And then, he's talking about doing some coaching, like, setting up some high ticket stuff. And I'm like, I don't actually, if I'm doing one-on-one coaching, if I'm doing this, like, you asked me, or you very generously said you'd pay for an hour of my time. My billing rate's $7.50 an hour, Mitch. I'm not going to charge you for an hour of my time. Not happening. But if there are,
man, you should charge more.
What's that?
You should charge way more than that.
I love that you said that. That's beautiful. So yeah, I probably should. Yeah, I'll have the editors take that out. So this is funny.
Well, I mean, my thought process is this isn't your main business. You have a business that you are working on already, full time, full steam ahead. Like, in order for someone to take your mind off of that and time away from your family.
So the funny thing is, Micah is his name, and we're talking about this, and I'm like, Micah, for this stuff, it's got to be $1,000 an hour. Like, Micah Jacoby.
I know
him. I'm sure he's kind of
I think he's in my brother's community, actually, and he's connected with me as well. Mm-hmm.
He is, which is one of the reasons.
He's still in high school. Yeah.
He just graduated.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And so, okay, so he's helping me build out the course, but this part, how do I frame this? So I'm like, this is not my main job. Like, the course and the stuff that I'm like passionate. It's a passion project. It's not my main job. I don't have capacity to like lean into this. And he was like, I'll do it all. I'll do all the back end. Like, I'll own it. And I'm like, man, that's a hell of an offer. Have you ever done this before? Not really. Yep. He's done some stuff like it. But he's doing a great job. Okay.
Nice.
And the team, the guys that are going to see this and edit it, they're awesome. They're awesome. And now that we've been working together for what's like 6 months, maybe, I introduced him to a couple other people. And so I'm his Bob. See where I went there? See what I did there? Yeah. And maybe I'm the one that they're kind of proving competence with, because he kind of showed up and like the baseline competence. Okay, it's enough. Then we got to character. And I'll tell you, Micah is a man of character, a young man of character, particularly like, in our business dealings. I'd say that's a testimony. Nice. And so now we're getting into higher levels of competence, but he said to me, like you just said, like, here's an area where I want to go into. can we build this can I do this with you? It's a little bit different, but we're touching on it the same. All right. So I digress. If this time, so now I'm gonna like lean in and be like, instead of paying me $1,000 an hour, if you feel like this was helpful in a one-on-one, I guess that's a question. I don't even want to like. Was it helpful?
Absolutely.
Cool. Because what we're looking to do is build a community with maybe some group stuff, but if somebody wants one-on-one like this, he's asking me to get testimonials. That's the thing, and I to go back to people that I've engaged with and grab a video testimonial. This is a half-baked thought. I'm working myself through it. I'm like, I shouldn't let this moment go. I got you on video, Mitch.
Well, I mean, I could craft a video for you that you could, eat more easily, kind of put up on the website or whatever.
That'd be super. That would be super. Yeah, okay.
100%.
That'd be rad. Yeah. Because I'll tell you, like, this only if it was helpful though. Like, really.
For sure, dude. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, man, you have your generosity just with my brother alone. I'd do anything you needed, anything you asked, regardless of you helping me out or not. Just that means so much to me. That's outside of my wife. That's my most important relationship, and your mentorship is invaluable to him. Your relationship is invaluable to him, and I just appreciate that he has that in you, and I'm very thankful for it.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I know that you mentioned Uncle Nick's at your house.
Yeah.
Like, it's genuine, from him and from what he's communicated with me. I know it's legitimate. It's genuine, and that's what makes me so grateful, because I know that a guy in your position, you don't have to be even doing this. You don't have to have him at your house for a week while you got, 4 kids and even last year, a brand new marriage, just moving in together, and, this year still new, still just a year in, or however long it's been, maybe 2. I can't remember.
No, 1 year. We just had our first anniversary.
That's right.
And Ariana and the girls are 10 days into a 30-day girls trip in Europe. It was a dream that the girls had before I came into the picture. And so when I came in the picture, they're like, "Mom, but what about Europe?" And I was like, "No, baby, you're still going to get your girls trip. Like that's going to happen." I have been wandering around my house like a lost puppy for 10 days. Like, what do I do? Where's my girls? I don't know what, and like Christian and Finn are there. My sons are in the house, but like, we've been living together forever. They're just like hanging out with their buddies. They're, in their bedroom. He's at football practice, whatever. Like, dude, I was not, I didn't calibrate my expectations properly. Let's say it that way. Did not calibrate my expectations properly. So I just missed the heck. Anyhow, I'm getting emotional because when I started just hanging out with Matt and Peyton, it's just like buddies. Yeah. So it's
buddies that are 20, 25 years younger.
I know. Yeah. I try to.
I'm not saying that in a bad way.
No.
It's just a testament to
it.
Really, the man that you are. I mean, it really is, and that's what means most to me. I mean, it's, business, wealth, whatever. You have the values, the foundation, and you're just a great man. And I wouldn't want to even take advice from someone in business. Maybe this is the wrong way of thinking about it, but I wouldn't care to take advice from anyone in business who didn't have what matters most right, in a good place.
Yeah.
So, and you do.
Awesome. Thanks for saying that. I appreciate you.
For sure.
There's one last plug that if I don't make it, I'm gonna regret it. But when Claire's putting together the invitation list for Matt and Tawny's wedding, I'm hoping I'm on it. I know.
You got to take that up with him, man. You got to take that up with him.
I know. Yeah.
I told him that he should do anything to squeeze you in. I mean,
just tell me when and where. I'll show up. I'll just show up out of the woods. That'd be so fun.
Fair. He wouldn't care. I know he wouldn't care.
That's so good.
Yeah, it would be awesome if you're there. Absolutely.
It'd be fun. Real fun.
Yeah, man. But yeah, dude, I really appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Absolutely.
Let me know about Bob.
Honestly, yeah, I'll definitely follow up with you, let you know how each of them go.
And if I mean, you said one of the guys a PNW guy. I'll talk to him.
I really appreciate it. Yeah. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Maybe I'll never hear back from him again. Who knows? He may not even be real, man. I mean, we may be chasing Bigfoot at this point.
I'll go. Yeah, you can introduce him to me, and I'll go out and I'll vet him. I'll be like, so Bob, show me your boat. Where is it really? Show me that you got the title. I just kidding. But if there's if he's somebody that I know or we know up here, or there's some kind of credibility that we can lend, and I mean, I'll just tell him the truth. I met you before you were doing what you were doing, and you're the same guy today that you were then. And you're a man that I trust. So we're getting into a real bromance here, Mitch. This is getting thick, but I'll do that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, that investment opportunity that I was mentioning to you earlier, it's
Bitcoin mining.
Bitcoin. Where do you stand? Where do you stand with Bitcoin? We kind of have to. I know we only got a few more minutes here, and this could be a whole nother 2 hours. But you coming from banking and investing.
So yeah, I'll just go. I'll go full open kimono. There was a point in my life where I had in aggregate $100,000 in various cryptocurrencies, and today that's like 3,000, 5,000 in a Coinbase wallet. Not because up and down.
Okay.
Because I'm not in it right now. I don't have the time to pay attention. I don't track it. I'm not, and I'm not a diamond hands, Bitcoin guy. So
for sure,
when things were really good, I was getting in and I was, taking it off the top. And then when I knew my attention was going to go away from it, I don't understand it enough. So I think I said, like, I'm going to hold 15 different currencies at like $200 a piece, and maybe 1,000 in Bitcoin and 1,000 in Ethereum. So I've got this I've got a mutual fund of cryptocurrencies that I have no idea. It's in Coinbase. I haven't logged in like 6 months. I don't even know my password. So that's where I'm at.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. With it, that could be another 2 hour conversation, but you'll find this interesting because one, numbers, finance the CFO, and you will appreciate this. I'll show you a spreadsheet maybe after we start recording. I can run you through it real quick because it almost has the benefits of real estate, which I heard you mention earlier that or not earlier, but back when I was at your house, like that's the direction you guys are going, with way more cash flow, essentially. Yeah, you're going to get more seasonality. Yeah, the Bitcoin miners are going to basically run out of steam every 4 to 6 years. But I want to show you the numbers and see, just see what you think. And then if you want to, go into the whole conversation of even what it is, we can, but I think you'll just find it interesting from the numbers perspective because real estate, debt, everything, all the numbers you'll need to know to be able to see if it is a good opportunity.